Hello and welcome. This video will pertain to everyone else's reactions about what happened yesterday during the motions hearing. I took some screenshots from people in the online community, and I also saved some posts to share with you. So I will not be disclosing any names because I have not asked anyone for their permission to share their posts. So these posts will be anonymous, but I did capture them from the free Karen Read online community. So this one reads, Brennan didn't simply say, quote, "The feds gave me these emails," end quote. His whole entire speech leading up to reading those emails was how the defense isn't turning over information and being shady, so he was forced to go to the feds to get the information. But then after Judge Bev comes back in a rage and shuts everything down, Brennan admits that he actually got the emails from the defense and not the feds. That was beyond dirty. But that wasn't the only dirty play he made today. Brandy Churchwell pointed this out on Twitter. Brennan made a huge dramatic issue about how Wolf told Jackson that more pedestrian accidents happen at night, but he didn't say that at trial with his, quote, "shh, don't tell anyone," end quote. But as we see here, that actually was brought up at trial on direct examination. You can take the attorney out of the mob, but you can't take the mob out of the attorney. Really good. So I will play this video, which has gone viral since yesterday's hearing.
There is a direct correlation between the time of day and pedestrian fatalities. Statistically speaking, most pedestrian fatalities occur during the evening and night hours. That would have been nice to have. So my specialty in the area of lighting and human factors results in a lot of my cases involving pedestrians. Pretty important stuff in this case. And then he comments, "If you don't want me to say this, that's fine." That's fine. Shh. Don't tell them.
So I'll play the next one in which Dr. Wolf, one of the PhDs who is an accident reconstructionist for ARCA, this clip is from the first trial, and Dr. Wolf does talk about pedestrian accidents occurring at night. So again, guys, this is yet another example of Hank Brennan being completely full of shit.
My work is in the field of lighting and visibility, so there's a direct correlation between time of day and pedestrian incidents. We see a rise in the evening and night hours just due to drivers having difficult ability to try to perceive and recognize individuals. So I certainly see a lot of pedestrian collisions in my casework.
And for anyone who isn't aware of what happened yesterday during the hearing, Judge Bev took a half-hour break, and then she came back, and she reacted in a way that I've never seen her react during this entire case. And I'm disappointed in her because where was this reaction when the prosecution committed multiple Brady violations against Karen Read? You know, it's amazing that we only get this sort of physical, emotional, and psychological reaction from Judge Beverly Cannoni when she thinks she's been lied to by the defense. She doesn't care that the Commonwealth is lying to the entire world. She doesn't care that the Commonwealth is lying to John O'Keefe's family. But she gives a damn when she believes she's been lied to by the defense. Thanks to Hank Brennan, again, portraying another lie and getting Judge Bev worked up. So Microdots made this clip of the hearing from yesterday, and he zoomed in to show us Judge Beverly Cannoni shaking.
All right. So the Commonwealth just provided the court with information that causes me grave concern. The implications of that information may have profound effects on this defense and defense counsel. So for that reason, I'm going to suspend today so that when we meet again to address these issues, all affected will be appropriately prepared. So I'll see you a week from today at 11 o'clock. And so I'll see you a week from today at 11 o'clock in the morning. You can tell me now if that is impossible for you. And Mr. Brennan, where the federal authorities have been kind enough in the past to allow me to have copies of everything, would you be kind enough to call over there or check with whomever you were dealing with to see if I can in fact get a copy of everything that you just read?
The defense provided us the emails that I read, February 13th, 2025. I think I said the federal government. It was the defense. February 13th, 2025, they sent us the emails and the direct examination outline.
So again, these posts will be anonymous. I'm only going to share the fact that Nan Gallagher, Esquire, made the post, but I'm not going to share who in the Karen Reed community reshared or reposted Gallagher's post, if that makes sense. So because Gallagher made the post public, I think it's fair to share it, but I'm not going to share the person who reposted it because, again, I don't have their permission to share their screen name. But I just want to say Judge Beverly Cannoni's physical response, her shaking, to me could either be anger, like she feels slighted by the defense, or anxiety. She's anxious about what she has to do next in her head, like in her mind. She's anxious about what she has to do next. But I think it's more likely anger. I think that we only saw that physical, almost overly dramatic response from Judge Bev because she feels offended by the defense. She feels slighted or insulted, like her intelligence is insulted by the defense. She feels like betrayed, you know? And guys, that's the only reason we've ever seen that reaction from Judge Bev. Despite all the atrocities she observed during the first trial, all the atrocities she observed before the first trial and after the first trial, we've never seen her react as if she's offended by the blatant obfuscation of facts, the blatant manipulation of facts committed by the prosecution in the Karen Reed case. So Judge Bev is clearly on the side of the prosecution. She clearly isn't offended when the prosecution commits atrocities, but, you know, God forbid the defense is misrepresented by Hank Brennan, you know? And, like, Hank Brennan succeeded. He tried to get an emotional reaction from Judge Bev, and he succeeded. But it's all gonna be, sanitized by sunlight, like Karen Reed would say. Come next Tuesday, Hank Brennan is gonna be so sorry that he emotionally manipulated Judge Bev. So let's read this post from Gallagher. It reads, a lawyer making bold assertions to a judge in open court, raising, quote, concerns, end quote, or opposing motions while not admitting he is opposing them without filing an affidavit or formal opposition papers is procedurally improper. Brennan did this with the Betterow motion and the ARCA motion. It was literally like he was having an unofficial public tattle session with Bev. It's bad and shady lawyering. I'm wholly unimpressed. He should have been chastised for it at an absolute minimum. Lawyers tend to mirror their clients. His client is the Commonwealth. Really good post. And I've accused Hank Brennan and Adam Lally of being improper, of being inappropriate procedurally. They just do whatever the hell they want. And despite Judge Bev's experience as an attorney and as a judge, she just lets them do whatever they want to do over and over again. You know, again, we only got that response from Judge Bev because it was about the defense team. And again, it was a lie. It was a lie orchestrated by Hank Brennan. And guys, during that hearing, Hank Brennan accused the defense team of doing things that the defense team accused Hank Brennan of doing. And I said this recently. Hank Brennan is a malignant narcissist. He is malicious. And I don't know the guy, but I would bet he's abusive in his personal life. Only because he takes what is the truth and he twists it. He gaslights everyone about what the truth is. And if you accuse Hank Brennan of wrong deeds, he will accuse you of those same wrong deeds, even though you're not guilty of the same wrong deeds. Those are the tactics of an abuser. I don't know Hank Brennan personally, but those are abusive tactics. Okay, guys? I've studied a lot of psychology over the years, and I am telling you, the way in which Hank Brennan reacted yesterday during the hearing, throwing out lies as he does, but behaving like he's a victim, like the prosecution is the victim of the defense, hiding evidence or hiding emails. It is such, the reverse is true. The exact opposite is true. And again, this is what abusers do. This is what psychological, narcissistic, malignant abusers do. They take the truth and they manipulate it in their favor. So whatever you accuse them of, they will flip it around on you and accuse you of doing the same thing. Because abusers tend to be cowards, you know? They're only abusive because they can't control themselves and they are cowards. They take the lowest realm of human behavior and they excel in it. And that is Hank Brennan. He excels in terrible behavior. He excels being a gaslighter and flipping the script, blame shifting, so that he never has to take responsibility for anything fucked up that he does. He can just keep pushing the blame onto the defense, who just so happened to be the only group of people in the Karen Reed case with any integrity. Here is another comment from the Free Karen Reed community. Again, I am intentionally leaving their screen name out of the video so that we can all respect their privacy. It reads, so Bev ignores violation after blatant violation by the Commonwealth, but then has a full-blown hissy fit, orgasm, thinking she's finally got shit on Jackson, but then looks like a psycho spaz when when she realizes Brennan, quote, accidentally, end quote, lied, and there is no real violation by Jackson. Is that about right? I wasn't sure what got her panties in a knot, but it sure was weird behavior for a judge. She jumped the gun, is what it looked like. Corrupt witch. Will be interesting to see. Sorry. I think, yeah, it's a typo. Will be interesting to see how she walks this back next week. Wondering if she will double down on finding a way to use this to get Jackson out, or pretend like she thought it through and just decided he didn't violate anything. Where is her spazzy outrage at Brennan's lies and violations? I wish I was there to help protest the shit out of her. She is the one who needs to be sanctioned. Excellent comment. I'll read another. This is another comment from the Free Karen Read community. Again, respecting the commenter's privacy. And it reads, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but this is how I viewed today's hearing about the ARCA experts. Auntie Bev thought she had something on AJ, Alan Jackson, when Brennan originally read those emails. Thinking Alan Jackson was being sneaky, she announced her decision to suspend the rest of the hearing because of info she learned about Alan Jackson and the ARCA emails. When she found out they came from Alan Jackson to the Commonwealth, didn't all her drama backfire? Alan Jackson sent them after all, therefore it wasn't sneaky after all. The contract with the government expired, so the defense paid them to retain them as experts. Am I missing anything? How is this bad for the defense? Great comment. And guys, the Free Karen Read community is full of discerning minds like this. I am proud of all these supporters. They're all thinking critically and logically and really filtering through the bullshit. And this comment reads, I think Hankey's buddies Kurowski and Reddington set him up when Michael Morrissey needed a prosecutor. They put their heads together and said, quote, let's get Hankey, end quote. He probably had no clue what happened in the first trial and thought Lally was just an idiot. No one actually clued him into the lack of evidence. He's probably the arrogant ass in their friend group, and they were sick of him talking about the Bolger case, etc. They threw him in the deep end and are watching him drown. Now he's prosecuting an innocent woman for murder. He has no evidence, and he thought the world was watching when he defended Bolger. He is now starting to see what it really means to have the whole world watching. He has every attorney on social media critiquing him. His friends sent him up the creek without a paddle. There is no win here for him. He is grasping at straws, looking for ways to exclude exculpatory evidence and discredit the defense because he has nothing else to work with. All the while, his, quote, friends, end quote, are having a great time watching him burn. He was blinded by arrogance when he took this on. Auntie Bev cannot save him. Excellent comment. Again, I love these people. I love the community. Excellent comment. This one reads, the prosecution is looking for anything to trip up the defense. Well, the joke's on the Commonwealth because the defense has all of their bases covered, and they already knew that Brennan was going to try this angle. It's all a pattern. Alan Jackson and team have figured out the prosecution style of research, etc., and will cut them off at the pass every time. Nice try, though. Excellent comment. And it is a pattern with Hank Brennan. So many of us watching his actions, it's so clear that it's a pattern. It couldn't be more evident that he keeps using and reusing the same tactics. Again, he thinks the more he lies, the more everyone will believe him. I am telling you guys, Hank Brennan must have studied propaganda. Plenty of governments, plenty of corrupt institutions study propaganda, because if you study propaganda, you learn how to manipulate crowds. You learn how to manipulate the masses. And one key tactic in propagating information is if you repeat a lie over and over again, eventually some people will believe it. And Hank Brennan knows this. It is absolutely a pattern. This one reads, so who thinks that the CW just helped Karen by lying about who gave them the emails and giving them an additional week to prepare their response? The defense is going to chew them up and spit them out next week. Really good. And I could see that happening. I could see Judge Bev and Hank Brennan, the prosecution. This was all sort of a facade, like a charade. To me, when I watched it, it seemed orchestrated. You know, Judge Bev's reaction, her response seemed genuine, as in she was genuinely shaking, and to me, likely because she was pissed off. But the whole mechanism of it, like the sequence of it, first Hank Brennan and then Judge Bev and then Hank Brennan, like it just seemed orchestrated to me. But I agree with this comment. Like, good job, Hank Brennan. You gave the defense a whole week to have your words bite you in the ass. This is a post someone shared from Microdots, and it reads, if it wasn't for the distraction, everyone would be talking about how much Elizabeth Little crushed it today. And it's a photo of attorney Elizabeth Little and Karen Reed. This is an older photo, but I agree with Microdots. Yesterday during the hearing, Elizabeth Little brought up how the connections between what happened to Sandra Birchmore and what is currently happening to Karen Reed are absolutely crucial to determining the credibility of the lead investigators in the Karen Reed case. The same investigators who lied about the police officers who abused Sandra Birchmore in the Sandra Birchmore case were the same lead investigators who lied about the details, about the events, about the timeline, about the lack of evidence, about the planting of evidence in the Karen Reed case. Elizabeth Little was absolutely 1000% correct that because these lead investigators lied in the Sandra Birchmore case, how can we possibly trust them for the Karen Reed case? Excellent post by Microdots. I will read just a few more. This one reads, I don't think Hank appreciated being schooled and given a taste of his own medicine by the one and only Miss Little. And she's referring to Elizabeth Little. Could that have been the reasoning for the, quote, low blow tactic, end quote, essentially coming out of left field? Maybe he expected Bev to just give them a tongue lashing, but when she straight up canceled the rest of the day, he was like, and then took to the podium to save face and admit it was the defense who gave them the communication, not the feds. Do you think Bev will be more mad about him blatantly deceiving the court or her believing him? Excellent comment. And it's so true. Elizabeth Little was winning. For sure, she was winning. Alan Jackson argued, David Unetti argued, but it was really Elizabeth Little who was the highlight of yesterday's hearing, for sure. And I agree with this comment. It's like Hank Brennan was so butthurt that he was knocked out by a woman that he responded by lashing out with lies. And maybe, guys, if it wasn't orchestrated, it's like he wasn't expecting Judge Bev to cancel the rest of the hearing, right? If it's not orchestrated, then it would make sense why Hank Brennan felt the need to immediately correct himself, correct his words, and clarify that it was in fact the defense who sent him those emails, who sent the prosecution the emails, and not the feds. Anyway, excellent comment. This one is from one of the admins in the Free Karen Reed community. Again, because I didn't ask them for their permission to share their post. I'm just going to read the post and not provide their name. So it reads, Alan Jackson has defeated much smarter and shittier people than Judge Bev. She has no chance of taking him off the case. Hank Brennan knows he has no chance against Alan in trial, so he tried to use Cannoni as his shill. Alan will turn their world upside down. He's an animal. They will regret this because he doesn't fuck around. Tuesday is going to be fire. And I agree. Guys, it's a pattern. Again, it's a pattern with Hank Brennan. Hank Brennan tried to exclude Dr. Marie Russell. And when that didn't work, he tried to exclude Richard Green. And then he was trying to exclude the ARCA experts. Hank Brennan is trying to exclude all of the real experts in this entire case. And he's also trying to exclude Alan Jackson. You guys see that? So what this also proves to us, guys, is that Hank Brennan is an insecure lawyer. He's an insecure attorney. He doesn't have the wherewithal, the mental capacity to argue effectively, to argue with integrity and validity. Instead, he goes after expert witnesses to try to eliminate them so that only he and his expert witnesses rule the narrative. You guys see? Hank Brennan is highly intelligent. But as I've said previously, he is not wise. He is actually an idiot. He is quite the fool. And again, a lot of attorneys are looking at him like he's deranged. And he is deranged. He's deranged with insecurity, with misplaced anger at the defense team and at Karen Reed. Hank Brennan needs a lot of soul searching, man. This guy is a lost soul and he knows it. And so he's grasping at straws, pure desperation, just eliminate everybody out of my way so that I have the only voice in the room. That's how Hank Brennan argues, and that's how you know he's a shitty arguer. He's a shitty attorney, Like, you gotta be a good debater to be an attorney. And it's clear that Hank Brennan doesn't even have that. And as a preview to my next video, my next series, it will have to be, because this is 35 pages long, so it will have to be a couple of videos. And it's the habeas writ. It's the memorandum in support of petition for writ of habeas corpus under 28 U.S.C. subsection 2241. So I will be reading it. It's what Martin Weinberg submitted to the federal court. And there's another document that's 700 pages long. It might take me a year to read that one to you guys. But I'm looking forward to reading this because it's Martin Weinberg going above the Supreme Court and into the federal court, and good for Karen Reed. She was denied by the Superior Court and she was then denied by the Supreme Court. So now it's the federal court. It's the District Court of Massachusetts. And I think she's got a good chance. I am praying that she has a good chance. Again, the courts in Norfolk and Suffolk counties, they don't know what they're doing. They've proven to the world that they don't know what they're doing. And in fact, they seem more concerned about defending one another as judicial representatives than they do about doing the right thing, doing the right thing. Like, isn't that why you become a judge in the first place? Because you want to do the right thing. You want to make a difference. No, it's not. It's not for some people like Judge Bev. And it's certainly not for some of those judges who made the decision from the Supreme Court. Some of those judges are there for a paycheck and that's it. And they're also there to defend their fellow colleagues, their fellow judges in the lower courts, apparently, An appellate court, that isn't doing what an appellate court is supposed to do, yeah, that's the Supreme Court of Suffolk County in Massachusetts. Thankfully, Martin Weinberg is smart enough to look through them, and now the federal court is going to have to hear this case. So that will be the next video. Thank you all for watching.